It's interesting today. We're going to have some wonderful tips and ideas for you, especially if you're looking to establish and create a little curb appeal. It's curb appeal, putting in new landscaping, and Mark, that's the topic today. And you've done a great job here, a home that's just off the St. Joe River.
It is. We're just a few minutes away from our home and garden
You're
center.
Close.
And this is actually a past client of ours.
Outstanding. And now this past client has had some plants, trees, and shrubs that have been here a little while, and that was part of the challenge, right?
Yeah, absolutely. And what we first did, Craig, was walk around the front of the house, and we really assessed what we wanted to keep and what was pretty tired and couldn't be repurposed, and those had to go.
Rule of thumb again, you've shared with us numerous times, 20, 30 years is about the lifespan for most of these plants, trees, and shrubs.
You're right, and if you've been able to accomplish it, you're doing good.
Yeah, great. Well, I love this property. It's a beauty, and what you've done here is merge the two, the old with the new, and again, that is something that can't just be easily done. It takes a little planning.
Well, I'll tell you the secret.
What's the secret?
The secret is you want to use some larger, more mature type of plants to blend in with plants that are 25, 30 years old.
Another Mark Linton trick, huh?
Oh, it is. But what we've got here, Craig, is a very formal entrance, and you see balance, you see symmetry.
You do.
What's on one side perfectly mirrors the other side. And we're starting out here with these little dwarf hinoki cypress. These are topiaries, little pom-poms, and they're not going to get real big. They're going to not get much larger than what you see here. And perfectly matching on each side. Since these are evergreen, they're providing that look 12 months out of the year.
Not a typical looking evergreen though, right?
Oh my goodness. I wish all the viewers could feel them
Yeah.
because they're very soft to the touch. They're very easy to maintain.
And you've been maintaining this in your own nursery for some time. I bet
These
you.
are about 12, 14-year-old topiaries.
Isn't that something?
Yeah.
Wow. What's next here, Mark?
Well, we've got our golden variegated larapes. These are little dwarf ornamental grasses, beautiful green and gold foliage, and they contrast nicely up against the black bark ground cover that we're featuring here. And then later on in the season, Craig, you're going to get spikes of blue flowers, and those blue flowers up against that green and gold foliage is absolutely beautiful.
That's that year-round interest that you keep telling us about, right?
Absolutely.
I love that. What's down here off the step?
Yeah, well, we've got some of our bright golden colored hostas. Again, we're looking for color contrast up against the bark ground cover. And these will not only attract hummingbirds, but they'll be attracting butterflies as well when they start blooming later on in the season.
The bark ground cover cannot be overlooked. It was a key factor in this whole look, wasn't it?
I love the black bark. It's very rich, very
Yes.
organic, and you know, from a distance it just looks like really rich soil.
Yeah, and the plants, trees, and shrubs, they just pop, don't they?
You know, when you've got the color there, you've got a nice contrast of color, absolutely.
Yeah. What about here?
Well, we've got a pair of fan burning bushes, and these are dwarf burning bushes. Now, you can't plant a seed and expect them to grow in a fan shape, but as long as you've got a nursery staff like ours who trains these work perfectly here. You know, the architectural feature is this window here. We did not want to hide the window, and so these fan burning bush work perfectly. They give us some height and some width, but the depth is the biggest concern. The challenge here is this driveway comes up so close to the house.
Yes.
We only have about a 4 or 5 foot bed here, and we want to make sure that for the next 20 years that these can easily be kept pruned into that area.
You know, you run into challenges that just don't duplicate themselves, right? I mean, everything is
Each job is so
uniquely
different.
Yeah.
Yes, and that's why it's important to have a custom design.
Yeah, great. What's next, Mark?
Well, here to your left, Craig, is one of our globe blue spruce, and it's in the blue spruce family like a blue spruce tree, only it's a blue spruce shrub, and it maintains those beautiful evergreen blue needles 12 months out of the year. Yeah, touch it. They're real soft to the touch with that new growth right now.
Very soft.
Actually feels kind of rubbery.
It does.
But we're going to keep that pruned so it stays below the base of the windows there. When the leaves fall off of the burning bush in the fall, then that's the bones of the landscape. And of course, burning bush, that's like the most popular landscape plant for fall color.
Yeah, you know, I just love the color there, though.
It's really pretty.
Isn't that a great contrast?
It is.
Everything going on here. Now you've got one of those famous weeping Alaskan cedars here, I see. Huh?
Very good, yes. We wanted to anchor the corner here. We needed some height. Again, we don't want a lot of width because of the limitations here with the driveway being so close
Sure.
to the house. So this is a perfect look. And what I always do with the landscaping is alternate deciduous and evergreen. So wherever we have something that's deciduous, meaning it loses its leaves during the wintertime, then we have something evergreen on each side. So if you go back to the fan burning bush, you see the globe blue spruce
Gotcha.
in between them, and then we've got the weeping Alaska cedar here. And then that way, it's providing the bones of the landscape during the fall, the winter, and the early spring, which here in Michiana, Craig, it's 6 months out of the year.
Yes, indeed. Those are some great tips for the homeowner at home watching right now, wondering, how can I create some of that balance? That's a really
My
easy
personal
thing to
goal is always to be informing the viewer as how they can accomplish this with their
do.
house.
Excellent. Next up?
We've got some of our golden spireas here, bright golden colored leaves, and then they have clusters of blue flowers later on during the summertime. Again, the blue and gold, beautiful color combination, contrasting nicely up against the black bark. And then Craig, you've actually got to look fairly closely here because the plants are just starting to wake up from their dormancy. But all along the driveway, we have these moonbeam coreopsis, and these are going to get to be about 18 inches tall, 24 inches in width. And these are going to be blooming the whole entire summertime and up until frost in the fall with bright yellow daisy-like type of flowers. And then at the end of the season, when it turns brown, you know what to do.
Yeah, cut it down.
There you go. When it turns brown, cut it down.
Hey, I like the little motion there, though, too. You get some of that, don't you?
We've got a nice little breeze going on here.
What's next?
Well, these look kind of stubby right now, but these were some of the original burning bush here in the landscape. And these were over 10 feet tall and over 10 feet wide.
Town. Serious?
Yeah, and
Wow.
what a lot of people don't know is burning bush are probably one of the most forgiving landscape plants. And you can come in here and you can see that we've heavily pruned these. And you always want to make sure that you do a good, clean cut. That way it can heal itself. And if you come back here in about another 12 months, you would be totally amazed at how nice these look.
Was it a little shock, though, to the system when the homeowner first saw this?
You know, it always is a shock when you first see it, but they have faith and trust in us that we know what we're doing.
That's
so.
the key, isn't it? You've been around a little bit. What's next, Mark?
Well, we continue the landscape bed down here, and we wanted to have an anchor. There are actually some larger overgrown evergreens in here. We removed all of those. We went with some of our gold thread cypress. Again, the gold contrasts nicely up against the black bark.
They sure do.
And these, of course, maintain that look 12 months out of the year. And really, the cherry on top of the sundae is this beautiful blood good Japanese maple. And we grow so many different varieties of Japanese maples. This is probably the most popular one that we grow. And Craig, incredibly slow growing, going to reach only to be about 12-15 feet in height. We can have it planted this close to the driveway and not really have a concern that's going to get too big for the area.
Mark, how much input did you get from the homeowner here? Did they give you like pretty much full license to do anything you needed to do?
Well, we have history here.
Yeah.
It's a repeat customer, not at this house, actually at a previous house. They just purchased this house, and they've been doing not only renovations on the outside, but on the inside as well. But that trust level had already been, we'd already jumped through hoops, so it was there. But yes, they shared their vision with me, and this is the end result. And I think it blends really nice with the existing 30-year-old landscape.
I think you're right. You've done a marvelous job. Now, whether it's a current client or one that's been around for a while, you can help either case, and certainly those that haven't had any contact at all with Linton's ever before. Now would be a great time to be calling Mark. And Mark, it's not too early and not too late. Really, it's perfect timing, isn't it?
It is
to
very
start
ideal.
scheduling something.
And because we grow all these plants at our nursery located in Bristol in containers, it allows us to landscape homes all season long. You know, a lot of folks would be a little hesitant during the summertime, especially during the heat of the summertime, but these plants, the roots aren't going to, to be cut, and they're just simply in containers. We slide them out of containers, plant them here. There's zero transplant shock.
I think there's a word for that. I think it's easy breezy, right?
There you go, easy breezy.
There you go. Say, folks, you need to connect with Linton's and do it as soon as you can. Of course, you can go online as well at lintons.com. Creating curb appeal with new landscaping. Mark, again, outstanding job here today. Congratulations.
Thank you, Craig.
Much more coming up on the program. Don't go away. We will be right back.